Hey y'all, Steph here from Middle Tennessee, Southern Sky TN Garden. I'm in Zone 7B and just wanted to give you an update. I just had posted my last video and I'll be posting this video pretty soon. And it's just an update on the garden cleanup, garden prep. So I'll turn the camera around and show you what's going on. So lots happening. Go and close the gate so Cash, my golden doodle, doesn't get in here. Okay, so it's Sunday around 5:30 p.m. We're supposed to get rain. You can see the dark clouds in the sky. I already had some big raindrops hit me, but then it went away. I started to panic. So anyway, they went away. So I'm just out here finishing up and give you all an update, like I said. So I did do a lot of cleanup. This is the main garden. I have several garden sections in the yard, but this is the main garden. And this is such an ugly time of year. It's just really ugly, y'all. But anyway, it'll be beautiful and green in just a couple months. So our last frost is expected mid-April. So I've got seeds going indoors. I'll give you a little shot as to what's going on there in another video. And in the meantime, I've just been doing a lot of cleanup. We spread these alfalfa pellets in the soil, and they are amazing. I have to water them down more and, chop it up a little more in some of the beds, but we get it from Tractor Supply, and they're the alfalfa pellets, not sprouts, alfalfa pellets for horse feed. So anyway, they do fabulous in the garden, add a lot of nitrogen. We had incredible growth last year, so I use it every year now. I've got some peas going over here, cleaned up this area, and you can see a few little sprouts already coming in. I just put down a few more, and then I actually, as I was doing it, I saw some other little plants coming up. I'm not sure what they are. They may be volunteers, because I know I put this other tomato cage up, but I don't remember planting anything there because I didn't label it. But I did put a few more peas down, and I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of like squash and tomato volunteers all over the yard. And then I'll be like pruning things out and putting them in specific spots so they can grow where they'll flourish and not crowd everything out. And we'll tone down a little bit of the volunteers too. So some beds are just still at rest right now. I did do a lot of filling up of the soil. I still have this one to work on. As you can see, it's pretty low. And I usually have sweet potatoes going in here, or various variety of potatoes. And then I know they say not to do peppers, so I don't. Peppers right next to the potatoes, but I can't remember. I think I did peppers in this one last year, but I'm probably going to put my peppers over here so they get a nice amount of sun. And then I'll still decide what to put over here. It'll probably be some sort of squash. And over here, I cleaned up these beds and got them really filled up nicely and put the alfalfa pellets on there. And now there's sunflowers going. After I had several years of where I had like a jungle back here between sunflowers and zinnias and I didn't really think out the planting pattern. So last year was much better. I had a lot of sunflowers going in these beds, and then underneath it I planted squash and other vegetables, and even tried to do some lettuce, although it didn't do good over here for some reason. But I don't know, maybe it was just too much sun. But I have got like some sunflowers sprouting up. And these are actually seeds from sunflowers we planted last year. And a lot of the sunflowers we plant are like the multi-head type. So they'll have the multiple colored flowers on them, and then multiple sunflowers, coming out of the stems. And they're just gorgeous, and they just keep going and going. So anyway, I've got a lot of flags up and a lot of dingle dangles up here, because I went over to this back area over here and I saw a lot of cracked shells, and I think the birds were getting to them. So hopefully I moved the owl over here, and I moved some other things around, so hopefully they won't, get to them too bad. I'll have to check on it after we get rain again. And then this is my tower. This is actually from Aldi's. It's not a brand name or anything, but it has beautiful flowers growing in it again. And that had just, you know, popped up again from last year. There's a few little things growing in there. That to me looks like a little squash plant, but we'll see what's happening there. I mean, you have to move some things around again. And then I have this bed going over here, which is probably the most I have going outside right now. I already had cilantro that had volunteered itself from last year. This whole thing was covered with cilantro. And then I added in some chives. I'm going to sprinkle a few more down. I had planted some garlic in there, but I don't think it's going to happen for me. So this will probably get dug up. I was a little late to the game with a lot of just life happening at that time of year last fall when I should have been planting garlic. So I got them in really late, like after Christmas or January. And then I had more drama with my dad becoming ill and passing away. So didn't really get to all that. And so in here now, I just put in some turnip seeds, radishes, parsnip. I added some more sunflowers back in here. And we'll just have like a little tuber type garden going right here. See what happens. I still have that bed over there. I did throw down like a couple little sunflowers right in there. I'll add some more. But I still have to take care of that bed. But it is pretty filled. And I just have to top everything off with some more alfalfa pellets. A lot of my fabric bags laying around, a lot of junk laying around. And actually I have buckets out here right now because I'm hoping they'll collect some water from the rain. And I plan to get a couple more like umbrellas out here for this season. I'm probably going to replace this one right here. It does do good. It really helped because we get so much heat, and so I want to get a second one. And it helped really, even the squash and all these plants that just love the sun. It was still very full sun, humid, like no relief. I had covers on things at times, but the umbrella, when it gets really the heat of the summer, really helps. So I'm going to position another one around here. And then I'm also going to put one probably in the back over here, and it'll help you know, shade my workbench, and so I can do more things out here directly in the garden. So that will help. Okay, we're gonna go out the gate over here. And again, not a real long video, just a quick update. My other one was a little more lengthy, but you know, I've got nothing in here going right now, but I have got, oh, something growing, something. You know what, that might be a little potato sprout. I had potatoes going in these last season, so you never know. That's what I love about gardening. It's always a surprise. I love the volunteers, but we'll be doing more potatoes in those this coming season. I have them actually going in brown bags. I have seed potatoes that I got. I actually got them from Walmart, but I have seed potatoes going, and I have them right now in some dirt and brown bags in the grow station. And then I talked about in my last video that I might be toning things down a little this year, just because I have a niece that's going to be graduating from college. I'll be gone here and there. Just, you know, lots of things happening between graduation and graduation parties and things like that. So, you know, might have to tone my activities down a little. But we also are working on getting a quote for having this actually pavered in. So our dream one day has always been to kind of like get this a little more polished and clean. And I would still have my pots probably just somewhere else in the yard, or maybe one or two, you know, by the patio. But we plan to hopefully maybe paver this one day soon, and then also make this a paver patio too. So I'll miss my little lime hydrangeas, but I've given them a wonderful life. They have grown a lot in 5 years. And so, but you know, we could use the space for additional patio space because we do have quite a large yard. We sit on like a quarter of an acre between our front yard and the whole lot and the house and all that. But so there's plenty of space, plenty of garden space to be had. I brought my Meyer lemon out so we could get some fresh air from being under a grow light the whole entire last end of fall and winter. So I'm finally bringing it out, and it's still in a container because I'll have to probably bring it in. here and there because, again, we're still expecting a frost, and it might even drop down to the 30s again later this week in the evenings. So anyway, so I don't know how much I'm going to be doing in this bed because, like I said, I'm trying to work on a couple quotes to have patio work done. So this bed would end up, well, all of this would come out. And it's funny, the guy told me, he goes, would this all be like trash? Do you want this all hauled away? And I'm like, no, this is my garden. I know it looks trash, but no, it stays. So, but anyway, but it will come up and just get moved. So anyway, this would probably all get moved and probably go over here where those chairs are sitting, because we would have a patio that extended, you know, all the way out from the corner wall of the house all the way out. So this would all go away, but it's not getting trashed. It's just getting repositioned and made more aesthetically pleasing. So it does look prettier in the summer, but you know how hey, we're all gardeners. You know how it is. Winters are not pretty in the garden. So I fixed this little greenhouse thing I have going on from Aldi's. I don't have anything in there yet, but I did kind of fix it and prop it back up again. I'm probably going to put some lettuce in there so it can get going on the outside while it's still cool out, and I can open it up during the day. And I do have lettuce going in the garage in my grow stations. Again, I'll share that later. We have this bed over here. I just have some wild kale still going. I didn't really do any cleanup in this area too much, except for trying to put this back together because it was just falling apart, and I didn't want it completely ruined. And of course, the greenhouse will get some activity in there going. And otherwise, I still have this area to get cleaned up over here, and it'll get prepped for tomatoes and cucumbers. So this is pretty much what I have going over here, what I had going over here last year, and that's pretty much the same plan. They did really good over here. I did have to give my cucumbers shade cloth because it would get like kind of intense sun. So again, I kind of review every video a little bit so you know the exposure if you just first have found me or started tuning in or forgot since I stopped posting last year. But anyway, our front of the house is this direction, and that's a western exposure. This is a northern exposure, but with our heat and everything out here and a lot of sunshine and rain, the tomatoes and stuff still flourished out here. So they did really well. The only problems I had was at the end of August, I got just, busy with other things, and just life was happening as usual. And I came out and the hornworms had practically destroyed my last crop of tomato, which I was going to actually take them out. I should have just grabbed the last ones, but the hornworms got to them, and it was just really nasty and gross. So I chopped everything down. And but I'll have to look out for those this year, because that was the first year I've ever really had them. I think I had them once, like one little worm on a tomato plant out in the main garden, and that was it. But never had an infestation like I did this last time. Like, wow, it's because I let it go. And then they had traveled, and they even got on the tomatoes that were growing over here. So I'll have to really watch that this year. Because once they found me, I don't think they're going to forget me. They know there's good stuff here. And again, like I said, the cucumbers, even though they got a lot of sun, I still had to do some shade cloth over them in the afternoons because they were starting to wilt. And I also was doing some squash, but the squash was just rough because just a lot of sun, a lot of heat, probably needed more fertilizer, all the things I need to do better. So follow along with me, y'all. Follow along. Learn what you should do and should not do. So anyway, all right, well, I will end the video, and as you can see, there's dark clouds in the horizon, and I have a lot of work to do still. So I hope you all have a good afternoon, a good evening. I am loving the time change, though. Absolutely love it. I come back to life. Oh, and Cash came to visit us before we leave. Cash is our golden doodle. He's going to be 3 years old in October. Huh, Cashy? Yeah, he keeps an eye on things. He's pretty active. Huh, baby? Yeah, you are. Okay, don't be camera shy. All right, y'all. Have a good evening and keep growing.